In this video, we are going to discuss about the difference between object-oriented programming and procedural-oriented programming. In fact, when you see these two, procedural languages know data and functions are two separate entities. Whereas in the case of object-oriented programming, they are encapsulated into one thing called object. And of course, there is no predefined data type or an abstract data type to handle complex data structures. But in object oriented programming, we have that. And in procedural languages, debugging is very difficult. Whereas object oriented programming, it is easy to debug. And of course, it is difficult to implement changes when you want to enhance the features of the existing software which is written in procedural languages. It is very difficult to do, whereas it is easier to manage and implement new features. And of course, procedural languages are not good for developing large applications, enterprise applications, whereas it is good, you can use this language for developing enterprise level applications. And of course, analysis and design is not easy in the case of C, whereas in the case of object oriented programming, it is easy. Procedural languages are faster in execution, but object oriented languages are little slower compared to procedural languages. And less flexibility is there in procedural languages as far as concerned with the changes, adding features, all this. Whereas highly flexible, object oriented programmings are highly flexible. Data and procedures based, whereas it is object oriented based. And usability is there, but it is not up to the mark. Whereas object oriented programming is more reusable. Only data and procedures are there, whereas in object oriented programming we have inheritance concept, encapsulation, polymorphism, etc. Procedural language is actually a top down approach, whereas object oriented language is actually bottom up approach. Okay, only a function called to another function, but here object is there in the communication with other object. The best examples of procedural languages are C, Basic, Fortran, Pascal, etc. And object oriented programming languages are Java, C++, VB.NET, C#.NET. Let's look at the applications of object oriented programming. Applications of object oriented programming are: we use it in real time systems, artificial intelligence, expert systems, neural networks, and some sort of object oriented databases. So when I say real time systems are using this object oriented programming for handling that, the data what is there in that. Okay, in a space, in missile launching, probably they do use this object oriented programming for handling that real time data. Coming to the artificial intelligence actually, we call that system is an idiot box. Why? Because whatever we say that it do, it cannot do in its own. Whereas artificial comes in that space where it do something for that particular issue. Okay, there we can use object oriented programming. Like that, even in the expert system, neural networks we do use this. Okay, and object oriented programming helps in designing object oriented databases. Best example for this is JavaDB.